I want to close by telling you just a brief word about a word. I see an expert on words over here, George Lakoff. Words and metaphors. The word of the day is crisis. Some of you know that the Chinese often write the word crisis with two symbols back to back. The first of them together means danger. The second one means opportunity. Put them together and you get their way of saying crisis. Our way of saying it conveys the danger and alarm, but seldom communicates the sense of opportunity that's a part of every crisis, particularly this one. This climate crisis is like nothing else we have ever faced. We've quadrupled population in less than a century. We've adopted technologies thousands of times more powerful than the ones our grandparents had. And we've adopted a way of thinking this is we don't have to care about tomorrow. And that's created this crisis. And so it's the most dangerous one we've ever faced. But hear me well, it is also filled with the greatest opportunity that any crisis has ever brought to us. We have to go through the danger to see the opportunity. We have to have the courage to face down the danger in order to seize the opportunity and make our lives better, make our country better, make our communities better, and make our world better. So we can tell our children, yes, we did our duty. Yes, we were up to the task. My parents and some of your grandparents were part of a generation here in America that we routinely refer to as the greatest generation. Why? Well, two reasons. They won the battle against global fascism. They faced the crisis of fascism in the 1940s, and they won two wars simultaneously in the Pacific and in Europe. But then, when those 19 and 20-year-olds and others in their generation came back from having prevailed in that horrible battle, they found that they themselves had been transformed by rising to meet that crisis. They had gained, without really realizing it, moral authority, a capacity for vision, a capacity to look over the horizon and to say, we can make choices to make sure this kind of thing never happens again. And they proposed the Marshall Plan, for example. And one of their generals, Omar Bradley, said, it is time we steered by the stars instead of the lights of each passing ship. And then they came to San Francisco Bay and they built the United Nations and they built the institutions for helping to promote world peace and prosperity. And they stepped up and they asked the taxpayers, you know, look, let's make an investment in unifying Europe so we don't have to go back and do this all the time. 2 world wars in 1/2 century. And the taxpayers of that generation said, of course we'll do it because it's the right thing. It's a great investment and we're going to end up benefiting so much more in the long run. The reason they were able to say that is because they had gained moral authority as a generation in rising to meet the crisis of their time. Now, it's our turn to rise and meet the crisis of our time. Look around our world. We have this ridiculous situation of bringing all this oil in, borrowing all that money, as I said. Look elsewhere in the world. We have genocide going on in Darfur. We've got chronic civil wars fought by child soldiers on narcotics. We've got tens of millions of people dying of easily preventable diseases every single year. Diseases that could be prevented by penicillin. Hey, we've had that for a long time. That could be prevented by just cleaning up the drinking water, the rape of the forests and the oceans, and others. We look at these things and we say, oh gosh, those are difficult political problems. They're not political problems. They're moral imperatives, and they're up to us to confront. But here's my point. The greatest opportunity that is part of this climate crisis, that is presented to us by the climate crisis, is that it gives us the chance to experience and feel something that few generations have the privilege of knowing, a shared moral purpose compelling enough to allow us to rise above more of our limitations, to set aside more of the bickering to which we're naturally vulnerable as human beings, to take destiny in our own hands. And by rising to meet this climate crisis, we can identify these other crises as the moral issues that they are, and we will find that we too will gain moral authority and vision and an ability to get our act together on this world. And I'll tell you where it starts. It starts right here in the state of California when you pass Prop 87. God bless you. Thank you.